They're dying! Flashing batteries, never a good sign. I watched Taylor, It's Radish Time's video on change, and then I watched Hank Green's video on Yellowstone and change, and now all I can think about is change. Pretty funny, one of the lessons I'm reminded of that's not in actual real life form is the ending to Bioshock Infinite that talks about seeing the constants in the variables. I think what often happens when we lose self-awareness of what is, like a motorcycle running along the highway, I always seem to have some sort of loud vehicle in my midst while I'm vlogging. I think we can get lost in the variables. We get lost in seeing all the things that's changing in varying degrees, and we lose what's consistent, doesn't suffer to change, which is not a lot. I think that our circumstances actually define who we are, and because we try to define ourselves by our circumstances, when those circumstances change, the uncertainty and the anger and hate and fear sets in. That's why I tend to look very, very deep and try to see everything in its essence and all of its fundamentalness. Just a bunch of big kabooms grounds me in reality, grounds me in what is, as much as I want to escape reality and run to a video game and pretend it all doesn't exist. The other thing I've been thinking about too is the scene in Jurassic Park where Dr. Malcolm talks about chaos theory. Certain systems are just absolutely unstable. Somehow life finds a balance. When we try to stop what is, when we try to resist it, and we're gonna defeat death and just do all this, sometimes it can feel kind of cool to go against the way things are. Part of me just wants us to be able to accept the way things are, not cause more suffering and more struggle through the change that we resist. It's a constant, but it's exciting. Feels exciting. If I were to go to myself 10 years ago and try to describe exactly where I am right now in my life, I think my 10-year-old self would be like, huh? No. What? That's not possible. How's that even gonna happen? I could never have predicted things in the present moment right now to my 10-year-old self. And I always refer to books I've read and quotes I've written in my journals because, in a way, it etches my understanding and appreciation for things that are constant and within all of the variables that tend to be the foggy, cloudy haze in front of everything. I do think that saying constants and variables, knowing what the constants are and being able to recognize those that never change, helps me enjoy the variables. I'm not attaching to what changes. I can enjoy what is as it changes slowly or in higher degrees, depending on my circumstances. I could be in a completely different place in about 5 days, but it really does depend on the degree of change that happens in the present moment. That appreciation of what is and the journey allows me to drift like a cloud and flow like water. My question for you is, when you hear the phrase constants and variables, what does that make you think of? And when it comes down to having to deal with change, what are sort of the things that keep you grounded in reality about what's constant, what helps you appreciate, be grateful for what is, versus attaching to what changes, worrying about the future and what will change, or worrying about what's already lost or changing in the current moment? That's my question for you today. Being aware of the change is definitely, I think, the key to enjoying it. And just letting it be, letting it happen. Because you are the change, you are the happen. I don't know. It's pretty awesome though. Nice day today too. Pretty sky. Yeah, keeping you, DFTBA. Don't forget those constants. Everybody, Palka.